Hey, everybody, and welcome to Doc's Taking on the Mormish. You've just entered the Doc's Clinic. Let's get this going. All right, and welcome back. So, as we said, we're going to go over the Mormish. They call it a QUO WARRANTO. So, basically, it's like a warrant. So the one we're going to look at here comes back from March 10th, 2021. And excuse me, here we have this fictitious document, and we're gonna point out some of the stuff that's pretty fictitious in this to help you out. So first off, we're gonna see that the plaintiff, or first off, the first thing is you see this right here, this United States of America Republic National Court of Claims. Well, that doesn't exist. Okay, that's that fake Moorish or Mormish governmental document here. All their stuff runs off a PO box out of Chicago, Illinois. And so we look right here in the first, I guess, plaintiff per se is President Christopher Cannon Bay. This guy has a rap sheet a mile long, and most so-called MOPES have quite the criminal record, either issues with traffic tickets, any sort of, not paying their bills, foreclosures. So they have a rap record. So we're going to go down there, and here we see right now, he's trying to, in this, they're trying to have this case per se against the governor of Illinois, the Solicitor General, the Attorney General, and the Supreme Court Justice, along with Cook County President, Cook County Sheriff, and Cook County Prosecutor. So in that as well, they'll list room 100, the presiding judge. Yeah, he did try to buy a TV with counterfeit money. It is, yeah, like I said, this guy's got a rap sheet a mile long. I appreciate that, Swindle, for bringing that up. Yeah, when I went to request his criminal record, it was bigger than the one that I got on Mr. Killeran. So it's, yeah. As we see here, the presiding judges, Chief Justice Brenda Mohammed Bay, so she doesn't exist, or he doesn't exist, Harrison Gilbert L., and Christopher Glass Bay. Now, what's funny about this is Mr. Cannon also has that secondary name, that Glass. So he does have several names he likes to use. None of these guys are real judges. So we all know that from the get-go. None of them could probably ever become a judge because of their long federal rap sheet they have. Here, they have their own case number stamped to it. You look up here, they have this little United States of America Republic National Court of Claims, which doesn't exist. This is all fictitious, okay? Every bit of this is fake. So we're going to come down here. They always start with this notice to principals is notice to all agents in their private capacity. Notice to agents is a notice to principals in their private capacity. Again, that doesn't do anything for them. Yeah. And then we go down here again. Here he is, president. He's, again, like I said, anybody can take a title. And he likes to use president because he thinks he's in charge of this fictitious government. So what's really great here is you start seeing this. So here's President Christopher Cannon Bay. He's the head of state, chief executive, trustee, private ser juris holder in due course and trustee status, free, white, and older private. Again, more fictitious. I mean, this is word salad. This is all meant to confuse people. And this is what they like to send to the courts to mess with everything that they do. Now, as you can see, this is a 49-page document. I am not going to go through every single page of this, obviously, but I'm going to hit on the important parts that just make them seem like idiots, bigger idiots than they already are. So, oh, nice. As you go down here, they like to do the United States of America Republic National Government. Again, fictitious. North, South, Central Americas. So here's what's funny. I reached out to the Moroccan embassy. They have no idea who these people are. They don't have any sort of agreements or anything with them, and they hold no power within the Moroccan kingdom or the Kingdom of Morocco. They took something that their prophet, which is this Noble Ali Bey, and when he was talking about the Amexims, he was talking about Africa. No way, shape, or form did he ever talk about America. Not in this sense anyways. And there's so much debunking that goes along with this that is just ridiculous. There's some really great articles out there that just destroy this stuff. So it's great to see that people like myself, Swindle, and others, we're taking this stuff and we're dismantling it over and over and over again. So hopefully that members of the FBI, which I've sent packets of information to, not so much the CIA, but NSA, the local branches of the FBI, to the state bureaus of investigation, to their secretary of states, their governors, lieutenant governors, inspector generals, saying, look, here you have, and I've listed out the codes that they're in violation of, federal statutes and state, because they're impersonating public officials. And the list is very long. So we get in here, again, this right to notice, which again holds no weight whatsoever. They like to call states providences, which is fake as well. States are states. They're sovereign states within the United States of America. That's what makes us. We took the system that the Roman Empire used and we refined it and made it better. We are a constitutional republic. So that's how we're built. Each state is sovereign to itself within the United States of America. That's what makes our country so different than everybody else, is because of how our states work, how our country works. So again, they throw out this affidavit of verification. Hey, True Science, glad to see you show up, man. And then he starts, Chief Executive Trustee, the United States of America, Republic. And he goes on saying how he has all this power, and he alone is the person that is going to run this. And then he comes down here and he goes, we'll come up here. So perjury pursuant to the laws of the people for the United States of America Republic on the land of the USA and the province of Illinois. We have a Secretary of State notary statement. So this is all from them. He's also a notary. So he has every job. He takes it all. So he also thinks that he is a judge. Well, he's not. And that's the problem. Again, these people hold no legality in any of their statements. So we'll go and move right along here. So what they do is they come out here and they list everybody that they've sent a letter to. And as you can see, he's using our postal service, obviously. And this is a certified mail tracking number. Again, they list out everybody thinking this is going to cause some fear. And that's what they hope. They hope one person out of this group is going to get scared and then turn around and they're just, oh, we got to do this. But that doesn't happen, because what a lot of these guys do is they look at it, they read it, they laugh at it. They probably give it to their legal, and their legal goes, oh, there's a shredder over there. Just go ahead and shred that. And that's exactly what happens, because these guys hold no weight in any of their documents. Again, here we go. The Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act of 1976, which does not at all grant these guys anything. Here's the great thing about this that I have thrown at them hundreds of times now. And now, granted, Swindle, Truth, they've been doing this for a long time. I started doing it more on the sovereign citizen side, and then I saw one of Truth's videos on these MOPES, and I was like, this is interesting. So in comparing the two, doing my research, I'm like, oh, they're Sov Cits, but they just throw a little bit more religion into it. Night Swindle, thanks for joining. We'll have this up and ready to go. I appreciate you stopping in, brother. If you haven't, make sure you check out Swindle Hoodwink's channel. A lot of great information. And like he says, he's been doing this for over 8 years, so he is a great source of information. So like I was saying, the MOOPs use more religion in their sovereign citizen case per se. So here we go. And in this, he's going to sit here and say how service in the courts of the United States and of the state shall be made upon a foreign state or political subdivision of a foreign state. Well, we're not foreign. What I was saying is, and I've thrown this at them hundreds of times, as I've said, you're talking about you changed your status, that you're a foreign national, you're a Moorish American citizen or national. Well, answer me this. You were born here in the United States of America. Have you actually officially renounced your U.S. citizenship? Because there's only one way to do that, and that's through the U.S. State Department. None of them can answer. They're just like, well, why do I have to fill out paperwork? Well, you want paperwork for everything else. So why wouldn't you want paperwork showing that you actually renounced your U.S. citizenship? If you're going to claim that you are a foreign national on U.S. soil and that you're a Moorish American, which you're not, then you should have your citizenship paperwork from Morocco. And, oh, by the way, they're not Moorish, they're Moroccan. And Moorish is a title that was given by European Christians in India to Muslims, the darker skinned Muslims. They called them Moors. And it just kind of carried on. And the part of their history, and again, we'll go through the history of Moors, the Ottoman Empire, which again, I thank Truth. He did a great video, 38-minute video, talking about different titles of the beys and the days and what they actually were. They were titles given to people through the Ottoman Empire. So again, Truth, great video on that, man. That I thoroughly enjoyed that video. So anyways, they think that they're automatically, because their skin's a little darker. Well, let me tell you what I am. I am a Sicilian, okay? And if anybody knows anything about Sicilians, our makeup is a Spanish conquistador and an African female slave. They got together, and that's what created my culture, my people, per se. However, I'm born here in the United States of America. This is where I think my great-great-grandparents came here, had my great-grandparents, had my my great-grandparents, and then my grandparents, and then they had my mom. So that's how I'm here. We'll talk about nationality. You've seen my one video on nationality, and Truth did another good one on nationality as well. Nationality is not where your forefathers are born. Nationality is where you live. It's not necessarily where you're born. It's where you live. So let's keep on moving here with this. He just goes down the line and just saying what we can't do and how everything is de facto and how everything we do here in the U.S. is fraud. And that's what they file. And again, I'll upload this so you guys have the file link for it. So in here, again, he goes with all his titles. And then Moorish American nationals are a Class A1 status, at law, free, white, 21 and older, not to be intermixed with the streminus homo indium soanus nam. So again, you see how he starts just throwing in words. It literally makes you want to stop reading. How that should be read is, no, you're not Moorish. You're a American national, which is true because you live here in the United States of America. So you are an American national. And this Class A1 citizen, I'll do some more research on that, but you're a citizen of the United States of America. And he goes on, and that, Bey is a Moorish American national and elected. He was never elected. Okay, what happened was him and a bunch of his buddies decided to go forward with this, and he just said, well, hey, I'm going to be president. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't get elected by anybody. And again, all these titles that he's saying that he's head of state, this again is violation of federal law. He's impersonating a public official. So not only is he in violation of Illinois state law, he's also in violation of federal law. And I believe it's like 7 different codes that he's in violation of. And we'll go over that in another segment with this too. Again, he says he falls under this document, Form 99. If any Form 1099, we all know that that's an independent contractor form for taxes. Again, it was recorded in it's not going to go to the recorder of deeds. It's going to go just to the county clerk's office. They're going to stamp it and say, yeah, this is the person that signed it. So here you go. Yeah, exactly. Just like Truth said, all he did was make up his own club. You couldn't have said that any better, buddy. And then he goes on, he starts just listing out all of this other stuff. Beneficial ownership statement with the United States Exchange Commission via the Edgar Filing Company. This document denotes involuntary slavery. The statute regarding this matter fall under IRS codes according to the statute or status of Moorish American nationals of the United States. There's nothing that states that. If you start actually digging through these codes he likes to throw out, here's what's funny. This 52-1147644, this is on their website. It is nowhere in IRS documentation anywhere to grant them anything. This is all stuff they've created. And same thing with this one right here, this 47-3175918. This is all on their website. This is all stuff that they've created. This is their IRS codes, not ours. Again, them telling people, oh, you don't have to pay taxes. Well, as much as I hate to even pay taxes, it's something I got to do. And if I tell my employer not to withhold any federal taxes, guess what? I have to figure that out at the end of the year, and I have to pay what my employer would have paid. So it's kind of nice letting your employer pull your taxes out for you because they pay their share of it too. So again, it falls in here. And again, he just continues on with his quo warranto. The United States of American Republic national government informs the state of Illinois and its courts that it lacks personal and subject matter jurisdiction over her nationals. So here you go. This is what we want to get to. They fight everything on jurisdiction. Problem is these courts have jurisdiction that was granted to them by the states, which was also granted to the states by the Constitution of the United States of America. So they have their own rights. They have the jurisdiction. If you commit a crime in Illinois and you're from Georgia, guess what? You're held to Georgia law or Illinois laws. And they can report that back to Georgia, which can have consequences for you in another state. Guess what? You committed the crime there. As much as they want to do their word salad and tumbling around in courthouses and filing bullcrap paperwork like this, guess what? The judge is going to look at it and be motion denied because they like using the word affidavit. These are truly motions when they file these. And there's hundreds of court cases that Truth has done, Swindle has done. Rest in peace. But Schrodinger's cat did some great videos. Law Talk with Mike, he's done some videos on this as well. The judge gets them, their motions. They like to handwrite them, so they're even harder to read. And the judge will read it, and he goes, dismissed. However, will preserve this. So if you want to appeal this case after it's over, it'll be preserved for your appeal. 90% of the time, they don't even make it to that next court level because they can't afford to move it any further. And again, it says the United States of America Republic authority comes from Allah, which it may because that's their claim to fame on everything. And being a lawful chartered state government. No, they are not lawful. No other country in the world recognizes them. I've got proof of that because I've reached out to 17 different embassies here in the United States. The one in Washington, D.C., and then their other one in New York City because that's where the UN is located. No other country, even ours, recognizes this government. They are not recognized. They are not chartered. Just because they have the Moroccan flag, which that's actually stealing a country's flag and using it for false pretenses or false representation. And they don't have a national citizen. So all of that is incorrect. And then he says, on August 1st, 2016, the United States of America Republic incorporated under Illinois. So here's the thing, though. If you read that act, they have to be lawful. What I've done is I actually sent a packet of paperwork with the codes they're in violation to the department in Illinois that handles this. So this will revoke their corporate status. They filed as a foreign nonprofit corporation. So what I did was I took that and I said, well, look, wait a minute. You said they have to remain lawful. Well, they're not. Here's why. Boom, boom, boom. So they're going to probably end up losing this status pretty soon. So they, a church, society, or congregation, or trustees. So what they did was, again, hello to everybody. Hello. What they've done is they've incorporated under a religious pretexts in it. But again, they have to still act lawful, and they're not. You have somebody who says he's president. He's not. You have other people saying they're secretary of states, governors, senators. You have attorney generals, these fake attorney generals, these fake marshals that they think they have, and they can arrest people. Again, it's just, it's hilarious. So, oh, sure. Hang on one second, Truth. Let me, I really don't care if you guys have this. This is my email for this page, which is so Truth is going to send me some documents that from an actual Moroccan that he talked to, or that he got yesterday via email. So once I get that from him, I will switch gears and we will show that as well. So again, they keep saying they have all these immunities. They have no immunities whatsoever. And that's what this document goes through, talking about their immunities. They bring up a case, but what's funny is if you actually read what this case is about, it has nothing to do with immunities or jurisdiction. And then when acting to enforce the statute and its subsequent amendments to the present date, the judge of the municipality court is acting as an administrative official and not judicial, but merely administrative. Again, you got to go in and read these cases because they cherry pick portions out of the case. So again, these people love just cherry picking. They're just like the soft-set cousins they have. They will cherry pick a quote or something out thinking that has judicial presence. It doesn't. Again, they start pulling these court cases. And again, I pulled this one right here. It has nothing to do with what they're trying to talk about. Same thing with this case. And again, I've gone through here and I've read these cases. Now, here we go. He's going to come back out and he's going to state for the record, Moorish American nationals are not subject to the jurisdiction of the state, county, or municipal governments or their courts. So what that means is they can just run around lawless. Okay. And that's not how it works. And they try so hard to do it. But again, great people like Truth, Swindle, and others have put out videos showing us how that doesn't work and showing them how it doesn't work. There's already been gentlemen that have ran this route for 3-5 years and realized that the nationality card doesn't work. Not putting the right plates and the tags on your car will get your car towed and huge fines. It doesn't matter. You don't have any extra immunity. You don't have any power. You still fall in the jurisdiction of the country you're in. Sooner or later, we're going to see the Treaty of Peace and Friendship come up in here. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship, I've been over this. I have made this a point of study for me. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship deals nothing more than with ports, maritime trade, and what happens if you come into port and you were to break a law as a sailor on a boat. And it deals with some stuff with some wartime issues, or if you need supplies, things that are repair. Nowhere in there does it get them out of anything. They love throwing the Treaty of Peace and Friendship out. It's still in effect. We have a very good relationship with the Kingdom of Morocco. They think along the same lines of us with, keeping terrorists at bay and things of that nature. We have a really good economic relationship with them. So it is a really good relationship with that country and ours. They don't understand the treaty. They read that treaty as, well, we have these rights. No, you don't. You unless you're coming in on a boat, this treaty doesn't pertain to you. That's how that treaty works. And then he puts in here, if the magistrate has no such jurisdiction, then he and those who advise and act with him or execute his process are trespassers. Again, not true. Again, he cherry-picked this, and this is nothing more than a fictitious person, a fictitious president, claiming that they have some power to tell this country that, hey, if you pull over somebody that says they're Moorish or Mormish or a MOOP, that they don't have to follow any of your laws. They can do whatever they want. Again, there's that Black Laws Dictionary. Like I said, the current one right now is the 11th. They do like to play between the second, fourth, and sixth edition of the Black Laws Dictionary because it still works for them. They like cherry picking. Okay, if you can go out and actually type in legal definition of trespasser, this isn't even going to come up. Okay, remember, Black Laws Dictionary is not law. It's a reference guide used for students in law school. Some lawyers use it to look at what the definition of or what the pretense of the word is, but it's not law. That's, again, the MOOPs and the soft sits have this issue where they think that is law. That is not law. So again, Moorish American national persons, property, and rights are secured by their national constitution. No, the Zodiac Constitution is not recognized anywhere. Again, Zodiac, which means it's the sign, which is astrology, which, again, voodoo science. Moorish American nationals have pledged their allegiance to the United States of America Republic national government. They may have, but the problem with that is they're going to spend a lot of time in jail. They're probably going to have their cars towed. They're probably going to be evicted and kicked out of where they live. They're going to have a lot of fines for traffic tickets and such. That's what happens when you follow this more science teaching as Truth puts out there. Let's see. We're still recording here. I'm going to go out and check my email here because he has sent me something. Yep, here it is. Okay, so this is really good. I'm going to switch my screens here so you guys, and there you guys can see it right there. Right here it says, as Moroccan, is better to not use Bey title because it's Ottoman, aka our rivals during the Moroccan imperial era. Instead, use Moulay Yoshi. Moulay is the title given to Moroccan nobles. Okay. And again, I want to thank Truth for getting this information. I appreciate it, brother. This is great right here. This, again, is that, if you ever been slapped by like your grandma for back talking, and it was one of those slaps where, man, it stuck with you for like months. That's what this is right here. You just had somebody tell you that using Bey, the title of your oppressors, okay, the title of your oppressors, as trying to claim nobility, they don't even know their true noble titles or what a title for a noble is. That's how messed up in this more science, MOOP science. And yeah, if any of you have watched that episode of Seinfeld with the Bubble Boy, that's where they're talking about. Truth, that would be awesome, dude. If you could get him on a live stream, that would be just awesome. I would definitely tune in. And if you would let me, I would stream that the same time you're streaming it just to get it out there to more people. This right here, this is what I'm talking about. This, you can't deny this. This is coming from another Moroccan saying, look, this is the actual title. This is what's given to Moroccan nobles. Well, again, another slap in the face from your grandma to these moops that think they know what they're talking about, and they don't. So I want to thank a big thank you to Truth for getting that information. So let's go back right here. Again, like I said, they like to play with the Black's Law Dictionary. That seems to be the favorite. They come down here in these appearances, and everything's a special appearance to them, okay? There's nothing special about it. They're there. They were summoned by the court to be there on that date. And again, a special appearance for testing the sufficiency of service or the jurisdiction of the court. They can say they're there for special appearance all they want. Nothing is going to happen. And so we have this here where, well, I'm here on special appearance. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, Bey, L, whatever they want to call themselves. and they think they're going to sit here and challenge jurisdiction. Well, what's happening now even more is these judges are learning more and more and more about this group, okay? They are known, just along with soft sits, they are known as domestic terrorists. They're known as paper terrorists. And so these judges are learning right away, no, that's not what I asked you. What's your real name? The name you were given when you were born here in the United States. Your parents gave you a legal name, not a straw man. That's BS. That doesn't exist. I've researched the hell out of that as too. I wish I had a corporate account with billions of dollars. I have kids to send to college. I wish that was there. It's not. It doesn't exist. There's no corporation opened up in your name. All capital letters do. Let's talk about that for a little bit here real quick, because that'll be mentioned here in a minute. Capital letters are there to do nothing more than draw attention to something. In the military, they teach us to write in capitals. The reason why they teach us to write in capitals is it's quicker and easier than remembering the lowercase, or, depending on someone's handwriting. You could have the worst handwriting in the world, but if you write a capital T, I will always understand a capital T, a capital I, a capital E, and a capital Z, and a capital Q. But if you try to write a lowercase q and a Z next to each other, I'm going to have no idea what you just wrote, because it's just that difficult with sloppy handwriting. Capital letters do nothing but draw attention out. They don't open a corporate account. They don't put anything out there. They're not creating a straw man. None of that. That's BS. So let's go ahead and move on here a little bit more. Again, they pull out a court case from the state. This court case looks like it comes from New Mexico. Again, they cherry pick the case. If you go back and read this, I guarantee you this probably has nothing to do with this. And then they come, anyone who voluntarily gives up his rights, gives up his free agency, and admits to the jurisdiction and control of the government. Well, nobody's giving up their rights. Nobody there gives up their rights. The only time you, and if you want to say you're giving up rights, is when you go to represent yourself. There are things that you lose. You do lose some rights to do some of the following if you had a lawyer represent you versus yourself. So again, still, you're not really giving up rights. Jurisdiction over the person is obtained by the service of process or by the voluntary appearance of the party in the progress of the cause. So they just said it right there. If I send you a letter of service, guess what? You better show up to my court. They even follow it right there. Cooper versus Reynolds, 77 U.S. 308. And I guarantee you there's more to this than what they're posting. And again, they just throw out court cases. This is nothing more than filler. Again, this document probably could have been 10 pages long, and they made it almost 50. And then here we go. Here's our demand for proof of jurisdiction. Pretty much this says, you got to provide me a document that says you have jurisdiction over me and that you have jurisdiction in this court. So that's what they're doing there. Basically, we already know the state or the county or the city they work in gives them the jurisdiction to rule in that court, to rule over those cases. That's how easy it is. That's how simple it is. But they, again, word salad. We're going to put a date on it. We're going to try to intimidate. That's what this is. Again, a lot of judges look at it and say, yeah, I read your motion for this. Denied. Because guess what? They have jurisdiction. And the other proof of jurisdiction is saying, oh, hey, by the way, you just showed up to my court. So that proves I have jurisdiction over you. So again, they go back and forth. Again, they throw out titles. A lot of these titles they throw out are older versions of these titles. You have to understand one thing about codes and titles here in the United States and in the states themselves is these things go and get revised all the time. That's the whole point. When we look at our Constitution, we look at our Bill of Rights, we look at, all of those documents, especially our Constitution. It's known as a living document. It has been modified as times change. It has been amended when needed to. That's the whole point. So these codes and laws that they say they don't have, that don't pertain to them, they do. They get revised all the time. So he goes in here and he says, except as otherwise provided by the statute, the proponent of a rule or order has the burden of proof. Any oral or documentary evidence may be received, but the agency, as a matter of policy, shall provide for the exclusion of irrelevant and unduly repetitious evidence. Now, the fact that the judge is sitting at that bench, the fact that you're in his court hollering about jurisdiction just proves he has jurisdiction. You're there. If he didn't have jurisdiction, you wouldn't file any of this and you wouldn't show up to court. So again, they trap themselves into that, their own little word salad. They get trapped in. Again, he calls himself president, so there's that federal offense. But then he goes in and says, state that there is no binding contract between the trustees. There doesn't have to be a contract. There is no contract. They sent you a summons and said, get your ass in court. That's what the contract was, and you showed up. So now we have this Clarefield doctrine is stare decisis again, more bull. Waiver of immunity. Again, he thinks he has some sort, or these people have some sort of immunity from showing up in court. He's wrong. Again, as you can see here, he took a snippet out of a case. It says, where any state proceeds against a private individual in a judicial forum, it is well settled that the state, county, municipality, etc., waives any immunity to counters, cross-claims, and complaints by direct or collateral means regarding the matters involved. Well, we know that. We know that if I file a claim against somebody, they can file a counterclaim against me. And what happens is usually they'll look at it, and if I have more evidence to call my claim versus yours, well, I'll proceed with going to court. Or if I don't, I'll be like, hey, we'll just settle this out of court or drop it. Again, where it's talking about cross claims or complaints, you have that ability. That's nothing we don't already know how courts work, how cases work. There's a lot of that. I just read a case, matter of fact, where a mayor who was being slandered by this group just got awarded $50 million in damages. Well, what this guy said is, well, now we're going to sue her for this for $50 million. So there's that cross claim being filed. And again, they go and says this doctrine includes, but is not limited to, challenge to personal subject matter and territorial jurisdiction, as well as to claim that the forum is not judicial in nature, but merely administrative, or that the court is proceeding improperly against a private individual under a rebuttable presumption that the private individual is a corporate entity or an artificial person. Again, there goes that straw man case. He just worded it differently versus a soft set. Pretty much said the same thing. In this too, let me also explain this, because again, they have a very hard time of understanding the difference between a private and a public person. A private person is you and me every day. We live private lives, and that's how we are. The second I run for office and I get that office, I win election, I become a public citizen. I do my term, I don't win re-election, I go back to being a private citizen. That's how that works. So again, they have a lot of things. Well, you're a public servant, you work for me. No, they do not work for you. They work for the city, state, county, municipality, whatever, the village. They work in the interest of that and the citizens that live in there. They do not work for you. And that's one of the things they like to say is, well, you're a public servant, you got to listen to me. No, they don't. They don't have to listen to you. That's the great thing. Again, they start talking about jurisdiction again. Authority and jurisdiction, because what he's trying to do at this point, he's trying to make his point to say, well, you got to throw the case out because you have no jurisdiction. Well, yeah, he actually does. So motion denied. The rights of the United States of America, Republic, and its Moorish national citizens to transport their property through Illinois. Okay, so what this is this guy wrote out a very long quo warranto because he probably got some traffic tickets. Now, let me explain this to you. There is a difference between traveling and driving. Traveling is going from point A to point B. You can use any mode you want to travel. Now, what you do have a right to is freedom of motion between the states or through a state. That's in a horse-drawn carriage or anything along those lines. when you get into a car, automobile, personal conveyance, vessel, which I was in the Navy, a vessel's a boat. So I don't know if you got a boat on land, that's you must be driving it via the trailer. So anyways, with that, yes, you do have the right to travel. No one's denying that. But that's with your 2 legs or a horse-drawn carriage. Or I think the other one is like a electric trolley. You don't have a inalienable right to jump in a car without registration, insurance, and license. You don't. That is a privilege. It is a privilege to drive. It is a right to travel. Yes, I agree with that. That's in the Constitution. That's freedom of movement. I don't disagree with that. But when you get into a car, you're operating it. You have to operate it. You can't talk your way out of that. You can say whatever you want. You're in motion. They call it locomotion. You're moving the car. So when you get in that car, one of the definitions of driving is operating a motor vehicle or automobile. Okay? If you look up operating, it gives you a large amount of definitions on top of there's that one talking about automobiles and motor vehicles. Okay. Yes, it is your private property. We know that it's your private property. You purchased it or you're paying on it. So it's your private property. However, to use your private property on the public roadways, license, insurance, registration. And in some states, you have to have an inspection sticker. It's all based on where you live. You do not have a inalienable right to use a car on the public roadways. You don't. Just like you don't have the right to jump up in an airplane and fly it unless you have your pilot's license and you have registration. Because, yes, you have to register that aircraft with the FAA and you have to have insurance to fly that aircraft. Same thing with a boat, a jet ski. There's reasons why we do that. One, keeping your vehicle registered. If your car was to get stolen, that information is accessible to the police. They have the VIN number, they have the license plate, they have the description, and who the owner of the vehicle is. Your driver's license proves to me that at least you have a little bit of knowledge of the rules of the roadway and that you know how to be, hopefully praying, safe around other drivers. Your insurance protects you and other drivers if you get in an accident. If you get in an accident and you're the cause of the accident and somebody goes into the hospital, your insurance covers that up to so much. It's there for a reason. That's why it's called insurance. It's like rental insurance. You buy it, you pay on it, you buy it at the beginning of the year, you don't think about it, but if somebody breaks in your house or a tornado hits and destroys all your property inside your rental property that you're renting, well, that's why you have that. Is so you can get some of your stuff back. You can get some monetary value out of it. And again, just like Truth just says, they are driving and traveling at the same time. They're doing both. But they've been brainwashed and taught to talk circles to confuse the officer. That's what it is. It's words out. Hey, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. I don't need a driver's license. Yes, you do. And I'm hoping as police see more and more of this, their departments start teaching them, say, look, you don't argue with them. You ask them once for that ID. They don't want to give it to you. Next step is you arrest them, we'll detain them, and we'll take them into jail, and we'll ID them there. That's how it needs to be. You also need to get rid of this, and I'll go back to this document here, is you need to increase fines. You need to make it even tougher to get their car out. You need to turn around and say, well, here's the thing. You have 30 days to get your car out, and here's what you need. Because your car's not leaving until we see the money you owe for the ticket and the fees. We also need proof of registration. We need to see proof of insurance. And, hey, we need to see that driver's license. Now, if somebody comes up there and they have suspended license and they can't get their driver's license to begin with, guess what? You can get insurance and registration all day long. You're going to need somebody else to drive it off the lot because you can't. These are things that if we start putting more pressure on these, I call them low-level MOPES because they're just starting out. They think they know it. Start putting them in financial trouble, and guess what? They'll be like, I ain't got time for this. I'm wasting too much money, and they're done. That's what needs to happen. And the more myself, Truth, others, we keep putting this stuff out there, guess what? You can't tell me there's not some detective sitting in a police department right now Googling videos on YouTube or in Google looking for more sovereign citizen videos and coming up with truth. I'll tell you, you search for him, he's one of the top channels that pop up. And they start watching this and they start hearing us describing how this stuff does not work. These cops are getting smarter and smarter because of people like us. So let's go right in here. So again, he starts talking about his authority and jurisdiction. Whatever may be the power of the state over commerce, this is completely internal. It cannot, can no more prohibit or regulate that which interstate than it can that which is with foreign nations. Power over one is given by the Constitution of the United States to Congress in the same words in which it is given over the other. And in both cases, it is necessarily exclusive that the transportation of property from one state to another is branched by interstate commerce is undeniable. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that that's freedom of movement. That allows you to move between states. Yes, you have a right to do that. That's a constitutional right, freedom of movement. Move between states. However, the way you're doing it is what is regulated and what has laws that the lower appellate courts went back and ruled on this, that the states have the power and the jurisdiction to make the laws, regulations, statutes, and codes for the public roadways. That includes city roads, county roads, state interstate roads, and federal highways that come through their state. The states make the rules for the roadways in their states. It doesn't matter if I-94, which I know goes all the way out to Washington State, is in Washington State. It's not the roadway. It's the fact that now I have to follow, as I drive through those states, I have to follow their laws for the roadways. That's just how it is. And it's pretty much universal that you have to have a driver's license, insurance, and registration to drive your car. That's universal. And then he wants you to look at a Maryland Certificate of Authority, which has no jurisdiction. It has no viability in this. And then the right of the United States of American Republic and its MOPES, national citizens, transport their property through Illinois is loaded by stat, and they list it. It exempts certain drivers from the driving laws of the state of Illinois. There are no drivers at all that are exempt from the laws and rules of the public roadways in the state of Illinois. There are none. The Chicago police are not upholding their stature, violate due process, and equal protection under the law of the state of Illinois. So basically what's happening is they're pissed off that one of their Moorish or Moopish friends got a ticket. That's what that is. Contrary to the statute against the peace and dignity of the same people of the United States of American Republic. So now see here, they're trying to compete with their government versus ours. When a law is put in place for the protection of the public and denied to a certain class of people creates erroneous liabilities because of the Chicago police overstepping the law, put it in place to protect the rights of the United States citizen to travel freely from one state or from state to state unobstructed. That is freedom of movement with your own two legs and a horse and buggy or an electric trolley, which I don't know of any electric trolleys that make it across state lines. That's all that is. Freedom of movement. Again, word salad meant to confuse. I'm glad you guys are hanging in there. I do apologize for my videos being a little longer than most, but when you start dealing with their paperwork and their wording and how they're doing stuff, there's just tons of information that comes out in these. So the object and effect of the Chicago police, therefore, to obstruct interstate commerce, to discriminate between the property of citizens of one state and that of citizens of another state in this particular color of law. Moopish or Moorish American nationals are foreign state citizens to the United States. No, they're not. They get no status. They have nothing of that. One, they're not Moorish American nationals. They're American nationals, yes. and they're not foreign state citizens because they don't belong to the country of Morocco. They are not Moroccan citizens. So again, he's wrong on both counts. The United States of America Republic being a national government, which it's not. It's a fictitious government, just like True said earlier in the comments. It's a club that they created. Citizens to the United States. Oh, there we go. Being a national government makes all Moorish Americans who have citizenship under it. Citizenship transcends state boundaries and firmly places Moorish American nationals out of the reach of municipal jurisdictions. No, it doesn't. Nowhere in any code, any law, any state that I've looked at, come traffic laws or the rules of the roadway, have I ever found a statement or a code that states Moorish Americans do not follow our laws. They are out of our jurisdictions. You can't write them tickets. They're exempt. Nowhere. No state has that. Even California and New York, two of the most liberal states in the country, neither one of them have a law anywhere that state that. That is pure BS. You can smell it from a mile away. And if you believe that, let me put it this way. If you believe that, I've got some beachfront property I want to sell you in the Mojave Desert. African Americans are subject to the jurisdiction of the federal government as federal wards. They're not federal wards. I read a really great article. It was a couple months ago talking about people being called African American, Italian American, Irish American. We're not. We're all American. I only really use that title of, somebody being Irish American or Italian American. I always ask them, say, do you have dual citizenship? Are you still a citizen of Italy and the United States? And if they say, well, no, I was born here in the U.S., but my family, that my grandparents or something, they came over on the boat from Italy. Oh, okay. So your heritage, your culture is in Italy. That's fine. But you were born here, so you're an American. There's no way to have another country put in front of American. There's none. You're born here, you're an American. If you were born over in Italy, you're an Italian. Or a Sicilian if you're born in Sicily. That's how that works. Now, if you come over here and say you're on a green card and you're trying to get your dual citizenship, okay? Yes, you're still a Sicilian citizen. You're a temporary citizen here in the United States via your green card or your visa. You're not a nationalized citizen yet. And so as soon as you become a nationalized citizen and you have that citizenship, you become an Italian American. And the reason why I put it like that is because, yes, you still have your Italian citizenship and you have your American citizenship. So you're both. That's how I look at it. Moorish is a religious sect title that was given by Christian Europeans to the Muslims due to their dark skin. It was a derogatory term that actually carried on. If you were called a Moor, it was known as you were disrespecting that person. So again, why would you want to have any variant of that title? It's shocking. And then they put the 14th Amendment in there. Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction, therefore, are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. That's absolutely correct. If you're born here in the United States of America or you're naturalized, you have your U.S. citizenship, you are a United States of America citizen. That is absolutely correct. And you're a citizen of the state you live in. So it's kind of like having dual citizenship. You're a national citizen and a state citizen. It's all based where you live in the United States. He then brings in this Negro problem. So he starts calling out African Americans or Black Americans, however you want to look at it. He starts going after them because, quote unquote, they haven't claimed their nationality yet. Well, there's no nationality to claim. They were born here, so they're Americans. There's your nationality. Just fix that problem. And he talks about Negroes and Blacks have been naturalized and have been conferred the nationality of the country they were born in by the United States. Yeah, they were born here in the United States of America. They're a U.S. citizen. Pretty easy to figure that out. Moorish American nationals of the United States of America Republic have repatriated back to their country by taking oaths of allegiance to their country, renouncing any loyalty or allegiance to other state. No, they haven't. Not a one of them. I bet you, Mr. Christopher Bay here, I guarantee you, he has not officially renounced his U.S. citizenship. I guarantee you that. Why? Because he loves all this freedom of speech he gets. Guarantee you, he has not renounced his U.S. citizenship. And I guarantee you, he is not a citizen of Morocco. So now you have that in there. So again, loyalty, allegiance to any other state. This is done in accordance with Title 8 USC. No, that's not how that's done. That is not how that's done at all. Aliens and Immigration Act of the United States federal government. It's the United States of America. That does nothing for them. So again, throughout a document, doesn't do anything. There you go. That's absolutely correct, Sonny. You couldn't have said it any better. And then here we go. Moors were then labeled black in order to provide them with civil rights and privileges. No, they weren't. They were never titled Moors, ever. They seem to think that if you're born in Africa, you're automatically titled Moor. They claim that that's based on the darkness of your skin tone. That's how you get that title Moor. That's not true. That's not how that works at all. Let's see. Protection colorable laws were put in place. Jim Crow and segregation laws and any other law states wanted to pass for the better ordering and governing of Negroes began and was established specifically for Negroes. Now, granted, I'm going to tell you right now, slavery in our country, Jim Crow laws, segregation, all that was bad. That was a nasty, nasty dark spot on this country's history, but it's part of our history. But what he stated here is not true. So again, more fallacy, more just making up bullshit to make it look good, more filler. Okay. And then the reconstruction of sovereign rights for Negroes. He goes back to the 14th Amendment. The constitutional fold of a free national government. Again, you read through this is just more and more of the same. He's literally repeated himself. Now, here's where we get some good stuff here. This is what I like. And I think, Truth, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're still here, brother, that gentleman who was running off at the mouth in the one video where they got turned away from the hospital, they thought they were going to arrest everybody and put the cuffs on him. The statutes were not something more than an exertion of police power. Attorney General Damon Holman Bay, I believe that's who that gentleman was, if I know my research right, cannot concur. The police power of a state cannot obstruct foreign commerce or interstate commerce beyond the necessity for its exercise, and under the color of it objects not within the scope, cannot be secure at the expense of the protected affordability by the federal Constitution. Well, Mr. Damian Holman Bay, you're not an attorney general, so you don't know the law. You're not a lawyer. You have no law number or attorney number in the state of Illinois or any state you're in. This guy is one of the ones that showed up at that hospital to try to use the fake court order to get a mom and a child out of a hospital. I believe they are in a mental health hospital, from what I was understanding and reading. And they come in there recording everything. Oh, we got a court order from our courts. Well, you got a piece of paper that somebody, and I found that guy's profile on Facebook, that somebody just all of a sudden calls himself a judge, and it held no validity. They never got those people out. Now, I did send Truth a video that I later found, where the video cut off in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they start recording again, and you see these two people come outdoors. Now, I'm going to tell you from what I watched in the video, I went back and watched the original video, and they did not come out the doors that these people had went into in the first place and then got kicked out of. They came out of a side door that looked like it was pretty well open. And all of a sudden, they got blankets and the Moroccan flag, and they're wrapping them in there. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Because they already told you they weren't coming down, that you would need to get in touch with the hospital attorney. They're not just going to call up there all of a sudden and release people. So again, more of that fake BS. Let's record something fake so it makes it look like we won. They didn't win anything. I actually went back and looked at the records and requested them. That mom and kid, after that had happened, were still in the hospital. They were still there. They were there, obviously, for 2 more months after that had happened. And the child got released to the state because of that. So it didn't help them any way, shape, or form. Again, just more of their fictitious attorney general going through here. They're saying that, again, there's no power. And then here, that on different dates in Chicago and across America, police and other law enforcement across the country are unlawfully obstructing, delaying, affecting and have obstructed, delayed, and affect commerce as that term is defined. So because police are doing their job, pulling people over for speeding and other infractions, they're delaying interstate commerce. Well, they have the right to do that. What they don't realize is the Fed oversees interstate commerce, okay? The states oversee non-commerce and commerce on the roadways. So again, they don't know what they're talking about. So let's move on a little bit here. Where this guy literally just types on forever and ever and ever. So let's see, what was that he just released? Oh, again, this is nothing more than filler. Now we're into their statement of facts. This case is about the violation of state laws occurring in states across the country where certificates of authority have been issued by multiple Secretary of States, which is the 4th highest seat in state government. The certificates of authority issued to the United States of America Republic to conduct her business affairs. Okay, I've seen these. These are all fake. How I'm telling you this is I've actually sent these documents to the Secretary of State. What they've done is they took a document that they made, and because nowadays we use digital signatures for everything, they have copied and pasted that digital signature into these documents and say, oh, see, we have this from the state. But yet I've sent it back to the Secretary of State and said, did you issue this to them? And most of them have come back. The ones that I've sent out have said, no, we did not issue this. So again, more lies and deceit. Again, they're trying to say that, their business affairs unmolested is undeniable and in violation to the Constitution, secured rights by law enforcement officials nationwide to regulate her commerce activities. You're on our roads, public roadways. They're going to regulate everything you drive. So, they're saying they're not getting equal protection, due process under the law, which they are. They're trying to say that they're not getting their rights. They're getting all the rights that are afforded to. So here we go. This is the fun part. Oh yeah, Anthony Williams. Yeah, he's another good one. So here we go. Now they're going to try to send out arrest warrants or summons. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the seals that are stamped on here by notaries in Chicago are just that. These documents did not go to anybody. And if they did, they probably laughed at them and went bink into the shredder. So here we go. So now they're going to issue some arrest warrants or summons. Affidavit is a fact. And these affidavits are actually called motions. So, they like using affidavits. That's their term of the day because they are court motion. Rule 13, to answer to complaint and counterclaim. An affidavit in answer to the complainant. And then all Moorish American citizens of the United States of American Republic who may become defendants in cases charged with colorable law under color of authority. The United States of America Republic serves the counterclaim. Okay. Now they're going to try and sue those people on the very first page. So they say these things all happen. So first, let's go down there. 1, there was no violation of this. I've looked 42 USC subsection 1981. There's no violation. There's no violation of the revision. There's no revision of the RICO Act, which deals with racketeering. There is no refusing or neglecting to prevent malicious abuse of power. There was none of that. See, they can't prove any of this. They have no proof of any of this. There was no violation to 18 USC 241 or 242. These are their two favorites to play with. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Well, that was brought upon your own person by this person because they just didn't want to listen to the police officer. I guarantee you, most cops don't want to write tickets. They don't want the paperwork that comes along with it. They don't want to have to show up to court. That's why we have the prosecuting attorney, the district attorney, goes in there and handles all these because they're the legal representation. So they don't want a lot of this stuff. And then impeding the right to do interstate commerce. There was nothing. I've read through these and there was none. Again, they start calling out Supreme Court cases. They want everybody to read this. And now here we go. The Attorney General's Office of the United States of American Republic state for the record that municipal governments act without proper jurisdiction by towing a conveyance, a car, owned by a national government entity, and then its law enforcement officers seizing the license plate of a national government vehicle which was purchased for government purposes. These are fake plates, mind you. These are not legit plates. These are fake. They make them and they sell them for like $100 a set. So whoever's selling these is making some money. Because I can tell you right now, in my vinyl business, I used to make vanity plates for people, and 50 cents worth of vinyl, the plate was $1, and I turn around and sell them for $20. So these guys are making some money. And I think I've seen this actual video when this took place. The United States of American Republic, the state of Illinois, has no laws that confer power to its peace officers to take the property of a foreign government or the property of a private irrevocable grant or trust. Well, one, you're a fictitious government, so that doesn't matter to them. Two, your car wasn't licensed. It didn't have proper registration. It didn't have proper insurance. Your driver's license, you probably didn't have that either. And because the plates were fictitious, they weren't legal plates in the state of Illinois, they can remove those plates and confiscate them because they're not legal plates. They're not identified any state or in this country as a legal plate. Legal notice has now been given for the record to all quasi-government. That's what they like to call us. We're a fake government. Officials and demi-officials upon their own unconstitutional act of enforcement of color of law. Actions while acting under color of authority, the state of Illinois, its officers and agents, is acting and has acted ultra vires. So basically what they're trying to say is we're going to let you know we're going to sue you. Okay? That's what they're doing. Legal notice. Here we go. Legal notice, and legal notice is given to the principal. Notice that there's that bullshit again. I hate that. It's nothing more than filler. Again, national rights to civil procedure rules. They start listing out all the rules because, again, they think they know what they're talking about, but they don't. And then they say, okay, you've been served. Now, again, I honestly believe if those are true registered mail receipt numbers, tracking numbers, if I punch one of those in, it should come up and show me it was delivered. I'm betting, though, that person probably gave it to the legal team and said, do whatever you want to do with this. So they're going to say, hey, we're serving you. We're going to recover damages. And here's more court cases. I swear to God, their documentation is nothing but cherry-picked court cases. And then we get in here and they say silence is acquiesce. So basically what they're saying is if you don't reply to us, that means you agree. Well, no, that's not true. That's not how that works. And again, you're wrong. They keep going on with cases. And again, filler. That's all it is. They list out different definitions as we go through. And that's why this thing is so long. It's nothing more than definitions in cherry-picked court cases is what it is. Consent judgments. Here's another court case. I think there's 2 of them in here. Yeah. Fletcher versus Cobb. Price versus Foster Johnson Lumber Company, which all they're doing is giving the definition of what a consent judgment is. I don't know why you would post that. Obligation, again, there it is. Black Law's 4th edition. They love the 4th edition because it starts to revise definitions, but it still plays where they want to play. Again, definition of contract. Involuntary bankruptcy, they start listing that out. It says the petitioner submits this timely quo warranto remedy and demand notice of timely lawful protest and refusal for cause without dishonor. notice of intent to reserve the right to claim bond and or surety. So yes, I did do some research. Police officers are bonded, insured. They have liability insurance. And most of the time, the department or the county or city they work in will add them to their insurance policy. And yes, but these police officers have no idea what that claim number is or anything. These people think that they have rights to that, and they don't. Again, it is true. They do exist, but they have no access to it. The law enforcement officer usually doesn't know what they're talking about. But yes, they are bonded and insured through the city or the county, whoever they work for. With an affidavit and verification, emergency order to cease and desist, and order to show cause, notice of agency action, and state that. And then again, notice to the respondent. What we're looking at is we're looking at what their fee is, okay? Because this is where it gets good. Again, they're going into more definitions. They're going after a Supreme Court justice. They're going after the president of Cook County, the sheriff, the prosecutor, let's see, Thaddeus Wilson. Yeah, and in their public and private capacity. So they think they can go after both, which they can't. They give the definition of the word de facto. Again, it's just more definitions, more filler. I honestly believe these are all templates that they have, because here we go. We're still talking about definitions, terms. Here we go. Public officer. I mean, again, we just went through almost the whole thing. Okay. It says inquiries into the nature and cause of the respondent's actions. Did the respondent initiate the emergency order to cease and desist in order to show cause, notice of agency action? Yes, so they did. Is the party referred to as the United States of American Republic? So they're kind of, again, they're asking questions, but they're answering. Oh, thank you, Sonny. So they start asking their own questions and answering their own questions. Is the state in Illinois is the body political of an organic republic of the state of Illinois? Answer, if not rebutted, no. And again, nobody's answering these. Nobody's giving them the time of day. And that's what frustrates them even more. So here we go. We got through statements of material facts. Again, they're going through everything again. This is nothing more than filler. So we're getting there. Okay, actions required. The Division of Securities of the Department of Commerce of the state of Illinois. Let's see. Tanya Sullivan, Director, Division of Securities, Illinois Department of Commerce, and Kwame Rolls, Attorney General, named herein have 21 days, the 72-hour period regarding 72-hour period regarding Reg Z expeditionist transaction. See it? Okay, so that didn't happen. To respond on a point-by-point basis to the merits of this refusal with the requirement instruments under oath. Failure to do so would become prima facie evidence in the nature, blah, 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 that all parties stipulate all answers of the petition. So basically what they're doing is they're trying to put a time limit on things to try to force the hand. Now this is the fun. This is the stuff I like. It says, number 1, you agree to be arrested for any violation or violations of international laws and to appear before a court of the United States of American Republic. Well, it's hard to be in that court because it's a P.O. box. Your court doesn't exist. You use a free conferencing system for your courts. And it is the funniest shit I've ever listened to in my life. To hear these guys play judge like they have some authority, and they don't. But here you're trying to tell me that I agree to be arrested. No, that ain't happening. And to appear in the court of the United States or an international criminal court at any time you have violated the Constitution of the United States of American Republic. Well, we don't follow your fictitious Constitution. And if you read this Constitution, it follows ours. They literally just threw in some more bullshit with it and other things to make them seem they're exempt from everything. Or anytime you or your agents have not acted in good faith. They didn't agree to that, but he typed it in there because it made it look good. You agree that any violation of the constitutional secured rights of Moorish American people is a trespass. Well, he wrote that in because nobody in their right mind is going to answer yes to this, because this doesn't exist for this. This is not a nationality at all. If you're born here, you live here, you're this. You agree to pay compensation fine. Now, this is good. This is what I love right here. And I'm sure it makes them laugh. You to pay compensation fine of $5 million to $5 billion per violation of the rights of Moorish American people secured by their constitution. No, that's not how that works. Or for violation of international law. No. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pay this for every violation of my federal government's laws on impersonating a public official. And there's quite a few counts. Notice the trespass. The trespassers will be prosecuted. Trespass of any kind is punishable by a compensation fine of $5 million to $5 billion and or imprisonment. They have no jails. The Army Provost Marshal is not coming to arrest anybody. Again, they list out this what it calls if you trespass. And then it says a trespass includes but is not limited to any violation of the rights of indigenous people, which doesn't apply to them. The Vienna Convention Declaration and Program of Action, that doesn't apply to them. The Geneva Convention, that doesn't apply to them. The Organic Constitution of the United States of the American Republic, that doesn't, it does because it's their fictitious club document. And then, again, you agree, you and your agents and co-parties are committing Senator Act, omitting knowledge in bad faith, fraud, conspiracy, undue enrichment, aiding and abetting, willful and wanted. So, again, nobody answered them, so they're just going to put yes. And, again, they try to say that you have no immunities, which is incorrect. They don't control anything. Just more of the same, them answering the questions. Okay, so now it says you are now granted 30 days exclusive of the day of receipt to respond to the statements, claim, and inquiries above. Failure to respond will constitute by operation of law the omission of all involved by tactic prosecution to the statements, claims, and answers to the inquiries shall be deemed res judicial stare decisis. So instead of just saying the decision, they have to throw their funny wording in there. So, and we're almost done here. We're at page 47. So they start going through, they bring out another article, which again doesn't pertain to any of this. Here's another legal notice. And then procedures and deadlines for subject to approval of the quoto warranto must be done with a sworn affidavit under penalty of perjury. None of that's happening because we don't follow your BS laws or anything. Okay, so here's this. Their Great Seal, which is all fake. None of this is true. The Circle 7 version of the Quran was made up by Noble Drew Ali. He actually made that up. Him and one other gentleman's own opinions. He took stuff out of the Holy Bible, our Bible, and he took stuff out of the Quran, and he just put it together and said, here's our version. So they are a religious sect of the Muslim faith. And then we have it right here. This is where it gets good. It's, here's the fake president, here's the fake attorney general, and here's the fake Secretary of State. Just to let you guys know, there are plenty of websites you can go on to order these fake gold seals, and that is that. So, as you see here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. As you see, they like playing the long game. They have this almost 50-page document that they're going to file in court. And they think it's going to save them when all in all what happens is when a judge sees that, they're going to deny this. They're going to overrule it. It's not going to come in. It'll be preserved for their appeal. And that's that. Nothing has happened on this. Now, I have sent countless packets of information, documentation on these individuals to the state of Illinois, hoping that they would wake up and realize that they have people impersonating the federal government and to do something. So, yeah, Timmy Drew was a con man. He definitely was. And a lot of people don't realize that he was a con man. So here we have this long document. They like filing documents like that. I mean, to give you an idea, this folder right here, I have, they have several sites, Facebook pages where they upload files. And in here, I have command to appears, where they're trying to call in these heads of state or heads of big companies. Like they're going to force them to show up, and it doesn't happen. So again, this is what we're dealing with on a near daily basis. I do appreciate everybody's time for coming in, watching this, staying with me for an hour and 20 minutes. And again, as I build my video base and I keep going over these documents, I've got a soft sit that I'm hammering. I did a video on him earlier today. And this one right here, we have a part 2 coming up tomorrow on the soft sit video that I'm doing right now on a Mr. Killeran out of Zanesville, Ohio. Got a lot of court documents on him, working on getting information from the county on him as well. So, again, and my hat goes off to people like Truth, Swindle, all you guys that have been doing this for so long. It's nice having guys like you that have been in this community doing this, sending information to me that I can run on my channel. And again, it's, we see this stuff happen all the time. It's just one thing that we're just trying to eliminate one day at a time. So, again, I want to thank everybody who showed up and was part of this today. And thanks a lot for tuning in. This is Doc's Clinic. For Doc's taking on the Mormonish, I do appreciate it. And Doc is out of here.